All women are liberal. It doesn't matter. They are all liberal. It's just a matter of to what degree. And I'm going to give myself a nice little pat on the back. I think I deserve a nice check from the Conservative Party of Canada because I have converted so many women from dumb liberals to at least voting Conservative. I remember there's one girl I dated. This must have been about 2 years ago. And for the BC provincial fall election, she said, I think I'm going to go vote NDP. And I said, if you vote NDP, I'm dumping your ass. That is it. Done. See you later. Your eggs are going to be scrambled. I'm not putting any kids inside of you. Well, why? You need to vote Conservative because it's going to at least slow down the decay of society, the decay of this province. Less crime, no free drugs. Like, think about this for a second. If I walked into a Starbucks, I would have a harder time getting a plastic straw than I would if I wanted to smoke crack in the cafe. Think about that. Asking for a plastic straw is illegal. Smoking crack in the cafe is not. This is where we're at. If you want to have kids, vote for the Conservatives. If you want to have less crime and so that I don't have to be your personal bodyguard, vote for the Conservatives. Do they have every solution? No. Personally, I'm going to vote for the PPC if there is ever a next election because I'm going to use that as leverage to get better policy out of the Conservatives right now. They are liberal light. I don't want liberal light. If Pierre wants my vote, you better come more to the far right. I want a far right, populist, nationalist politician. And if you're not going to do that, you're not getting my vote. It's a good thing that money doesn't win elections, votes do. Well, votes do win elections. If Pierre wants my vote, come to the far right or I'm not giving you my vote. So point being, I've converted many, many, many women from being retarded liberals to voting for the Conservatives. So point being, all women are liberals. And I bring this up because it is feminism that has caused all of these problems and destroyed the very fabric of our society in Canada. You think about back in the World War II, and I'm basically going to steal this from Daniel at the Dominion Society. He had a good rant the other day about how pre-World War II, or even during World War II, Canadians were absolute nail guns. Like to come over across the Atlantic Ocean for a month, 2 months on a boat with nothing to your name, don't know how to speak English for a lot of them, not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and they came and they braved the elements and they built a new life, leaving a corrupt Europe. You had to be an absolute nail gun. That's why the Canadians were so badass in World War I and World War II. Taking Vimy Ridge, oh, we don't care. Take no prisoners. They got the job done. They were, again, hockey lingo, they were absolute nail guns. But then you look at the feminization of our society, and again, Lester Pearson, who started it, and then Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who really kind of put the foot on the gas with civil rights and feminism, destroyed Canada. You could argue his son did just as bad of a job and did the exact same tactic. Pierre Elliott Trudeau wanted to bring in multiculturalism and immigration to water down the Quebec nationalism. Justin Trudeau wanted to bring in more immigration to water down Canadian nationalism, if there was even that to exist to begin with. But you look at from 1960 until 1970. In 1960, the birth rates were 3.8 kids per woman, per Native Canadian woman. 1970, it was 2.1 kids per Native population Canadian woman. 2.2 is what is required to sustain the population. 2.1 will not cut it. There has never been a time in human history in Canada where the birth rates have plummeted 50%, just shy of 50% in that time. 10 years, they plummeted, I believe it's 46 or 45%. You go from 1970 until now, they plummeted another 40%. So what has happened in the last 70 years, they did that in less than 10. And what caused that? No-fault divorce in 1960, introduction to hormonal birth control, the pill, in 1965, and the decriminalization of abortion in Canada. And whether you are pro or against all of that, it does not matter. The point being is that women now had an escape from two horny teenagers who wanted to get their rocks off. Oops, she got pregnant. Better make an honest woman out of her. Family was formed. Marriage was falling apart. Oh, well, I guess we're going to have a kid to try to solve things, right? The endless fun through your 20s and then worry about getting a guy in your 30s, freeze your eggs. Worst case, you take the eggs out of the freezer when you're 40. That was allowed now that you had hormonal birth control. And if for some reason you just want to be reckless and not have any accountability, then, well, you could just, headshot your future kids. And as of 1970. And that plummeted the birth rates. For those that are not familiar, women are hypergamous. They want the best that they can do, and that allows them to draw the process out. They can wait longer to wait for Mr. Right. And to give you an idea, women hate beta males. They hate you soy boys. They hate liberal women or liberal men. You know what's so funny? Even the liberal women of today's society cannot stomach liberal men. They want conservative, masculine, high testosterone, truculent men with tenacity. That is what they want. And to give you an idea of how badly they want that and do not want to be with you soy boys, they will literally, despite the female nature to want to be a mom, to raise kids, etc., plant a garden and make sourdough bread and brown butter chocolate chunk cookies for yours truly, they will literally go to university, rack up $50,000 of student debt, get a job, get a career working for the government for a job that they freaking hate, just to avoid your stupid ass. That is how much they hate you soy boys and you beta males. So the birth rates declined up until 1970. Pierre Elliott Trudeau and the boys said, oh, that's funny, the birth rates are declining. We are not going to have as many people paying into the Canadian pension Ponzi, into our social services. We need a bigger population today than there was previously so that we can pay for the old farts to not work at Walmart as a greater 90 years old. Enter multiculturalism. Enter the Immigration Act. Boom! Bring them off the boatload to the tune of over 1.4 million people from 2015 until today. And you wonder why the population is going to hit 100 million by 2030. Oh boy, they're saying 2100. No, sir. No, sir. It is going to hit that by 2030, whether you like it or not. Go to Toronto and tell me that doesn't look like New Mumbai. Go to Montreal, tell me that does not look like a Minnesota daycare center. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. This is what feminism has done. And then on top of the fact that it's liberal white women that they've used to indoctrinate, because women naturally are very communalistic. They're very like hive-minded. They're very socialist mentality. And the powers that be know that. And they're very easy to control with an emotional argument versus logic. So for example, if you try an emotional argument on me, I'm probably not going to listen to you. If you can lay out some facts and some good logic and explain to me how something could benefit me, I'll probably listen and take action. It's why during this scamdemic, if your woman was in charge when they had the death ticker on the news, remember they used to have the Dow Jones, the TSX, or the S&P 500. Hey, this is what the market is up at today. They just replaced that graphic for 5,000 people died in Spain, 3,000 people died in Italy. And if your woman was in charge, may God have mercy on your soul. And you bet your ass she was marching you first in line to go get your not-so-safe, not-so-proven vaccine at the indoctrination clinic. At the vaccination clinic. They also went to the indoctrination clinic with the university system, but we'll leave that be for a second. And so they've indoctrinated the liberal white women. And to a degree also, I do feel bad for a lot of liberal white women because they do not ever have the opportunity to experience a real man. Most of them are experiencing you soy boys, you betas, and you liberal men. Most women never get the opportunity to experience what a real man will make them feel like and what a real man is supposed to be, not what social media and society tells you. Part of that is the sabotaging behavior where society is constantly telling them that they can do better. If you look at there was a stat the other day, the majority of Reddit threads in regard to relationship advice, 55 to 58% of all replies, all forums in that subreddit are leave his ass, move on, do better. The disposability of society is absolutely flabbergasting. The ability to work through problems and to stick together through thick and thin does not exist anymore, and they're training your women to hate you and to make your ass disposable. Men have always been disposable, but you're now even more disposable than you were previously. And this is what feminism has done. It's absolutely destroyed our society. And you look, the women, I believe, do have higher testosterone levels than the men. Most of you soy boys sitting around watching sports ball, yay, World Cup of hockey, smoking weed, watching adult videos, especially women 28 plus. My goodness, they're like a pack of hyenas. Oh boy, high testosterone. You ever seen a hyena actually eat compared to a lion? Lions, they wait for their prey to pass away. Hyenas, they don't wait. They are savages. It's crazy. Here's a good joke for you though. Chuck Norris goes to a feminist rally. They make him a sandwich. There's another one that goes, Chuck Norris goes to a feminist rally and they knitted him a sweater. It's kind of funny. They all got back in line when they saw Mr. Chuck Norris. But the CPP, the Canadian Pension Ponzi, it's being invested $2 trillion, $200 billion of the $2 trillion into Indian investments. I'm sure that'll go well.